My mom's boyfriend thought he could take my house. Here's what happened. When I was 18, my mom passed away. She had worked her entire life, saving money, paying off debts, and making sure my little brother and I would be okay. She also had a boyfriend. Let's call him Dave. Dave had been living with us for several years before she passed. He never paid rent, rarely helped around the house, and barely bought groceries. At first, I didn't mind. I thought if we got along, it was fine. Life started out normal. Dave and his son would sit in the living room watching cartoons while I did homework in the kitchen or made breakfast. Sometimes Dave helped with chores, sometimes he didn't. I was polite, he was polite, and we mostly kept to ourselves. I told myself it was easier that way, even though I often felt frustrated when I had to clean up his mess or pay the bills on my own. A few years later, Dave started dating a new woman. She began coming over more often. At first, it was just uncomfortable. I'd be in the kitchen making a sandwich, and she'd sit at the table scrolling on her phone, occasionally saying I should find somewhere else to live. I tried to stay patient, hoping she would learn the boundaries, but every visit made me more uneasy. Then one Saturday afternoon, everything came to a head. I was reaching for some bread when she walked over and started taking food from my pantry. I asked her what she thought she was doing. She laughed and said I should leave, calling me a leech living off my dead mom's boyfriend. My stomach sank, my hands shook, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I called Dave downstairs. He came and saw what was happening. He mumbled something about my mom promising him the house and that he was just being kind, letting me stay. I reminded him very clearly that my mom never promised him anything. She had only set aside money for his son's college, but nothing for him. He had lived in my house for almost 8 years without paying a dime. If he didn't have savings, that was his problem. I gave him 30 days to move out. That night, he packed his things with his son and left. The driveway was silent, and I felt a mix of relief, guilt, and sadness. I kept thinking about all the small annoyances over the years, the mess in the living room, the half-empty fridge, the late-night phone calls, but also about respecting my mom's memory. I remembered her telling me once, always protect your space. Nobody gets to take that from you. A week later, Dave called. He apologized. He admitted that he had been lazy, let others manipulate him, and that he had no right to stay in my home for so long. Then he tried to hand me a check for $150,000, saying it was to thank me for letting him stay. I refused. I told him I didn't want his money and didn't want to give him any legal reason to come back. Over the next few weeks, Dave started seriously looking for a house. He called realtors, visited properties, asked questions, and even put down almost half the payment for a new place. His son was thrilled, asking when we could come hang out at the new house. Watching him run around, laughing and excited, made me feel proud and relieved at the same time. There were small, ordinary moments that made everything real. I would hear Dave on the phone figuring out utilities or the mortgage. I'd see him carefully packing boxes, measuring rooms, checking paint colors online. His son would run back and forth, dropping toys, laughing, shouting, and even tripping over things. Even in these ordinary moments, I could see him learning responsibility and independence, something he had avoided for years. Now, we still hang out sometimes. We go to the park, play laser tag, or have dinner together. I realized something important. Standing your ground, even when it's uncomfortable, is necessary. Respecting your boundaries isn't mean. It's the only way to protect what matters. And sometimes doing so changes everything for the better. My mom's memory is safe here, and for the first time in years, so am I.